Hi, I'm Ryuk, and today we're going to talk about the ANARCHY Kid Aggressive Skates. For the context, I am a small human. I started aggressive skating a year ago, and I wanted to find a second-hand cheap pair. Sadly, I couldn't find that much information because there are a lot of YouTubers that are doing deep reviews on adult skates, but not on kids skates. So yeah, this became kind of a side quest to me. I previously reviewed the Celtic K Junior skates, so check this video if you need more information on them. Today we're gonna talk about the not so popular ANARCHY PANIK skates. When I say not so popular is because ANARCHY is not a very popular brand into the skating community, and from what I see they are on the very entry level cheapest side of the skates brands. But I mean, there are not so much aggressive skates for kids on the market, so this might worth take a look. So basically, they are aggressive skates, so they are designed for ramps, jumps, grinds, flips, and they're adjustable from a size 2 to size 5, so size 34 to 38 in Europe. So they are designed for kids and teenagers basically. They have a flat setup with 4 wheels, and the skate is a soft boot. And this is gonna be the first thing I'm gonna talk about, the boot. Most aggressive skates are designed as bulky as possible to handle all the hard impacts, the falls, and all the wear that can be caused by an aggressive practice. And surprisingly, those are designed with a soft boot, which means the boot is not covered by plastic but by a thick fabric. Actually, only the toe part is really hard. I have nothing against soft boots, but it requires much more attention in the conception, and in general, good soft boots are more expensive than that. For a kid skate, it might be a good idea to save some weight here and there, but I'll come back to this a little later. You still have hard plastic on the back, and this is where you'll be able to adjust the size. You'll have to unscrew this one under the frame, the one that is under the heel, and then you slide back and forth the heel part to adjust the size. For some other aggressive skates, the adjustment will be on the front. Some have both the heel and the front part. For those, that's gonna be only on the heel part. So now, how the sizing feels. I am a size 36, and the smaller size setting is just perfect in length. And it's supposed to be a 34, so I'll say they run quite big. A friend of mine who usually wears a size 39 can still wear them, so that's okay. But there is something that bothers me, it's the liner. There is no liner, or I mean, half of a liner. And this was not mentioned on any website, so that was kind of a bad surprise. So except for the heel part where you still have support, your feet just wiggles inside of the boot. And this is where the soft boot thing is coming back. No liner combined to a soft boot means that you just lose a lot of stability and responsiveness. At least the lacing and the 45-degree straps works well, so I didn't experience heel lift, but the fact that my feet is still able to move left to right into the boot, it feels like the wheel are just gonna come off my feet. So I'm definitely not confident on those skates, so I cannot imagine for a complete beginner. But I was able to find a trick to fix that. I simply added my current pair of liner inside. I mean, the best would be to remove the original tongue because this looks silly, but at least it works. When this idea popped in my mind, I was like, there is no way this is gonna work because the boot is not designed to have a liner inside, this will be too tight for me. And in the end, it didn't felt too tight at all, at least for a feet of my size. So that gives you an idea of how large they originally feels to me. But I think this is something really tricky when you design a skate that is supposed to be adjustable between 4 sizes. It's supposed to fit all. I previously tested the Razor's Genesis Junior and they also felt too large. On the other hand, the Celtic Junior felt just right, but they would have been too snug for the latest size they are covering. So I think that's just the most common problem on adjustable skates. The buckle is quite basic, but okay. The cuff is hollowed, which is quite uncommon for an aggressive skate, but I'm not against it if it allows to make the skate lighter. It's not gonna be as strong as a full hard cuff, but for beginner kids, I think it might not break. The sole plate is pretty basic, not really large but not tiny, not as easy to lock on the grinds as my USD sways, but you can still definitely grind on them. The frame is also pretty average, it's very similar to the ground control frames that comes with the Razer Genesis Junior, but I think the flat setup here is not the best in my opinion. Let me explain. There are different types of frames and wheel setup for aggressive skates. Flat with 4 wheels, anti-rockers, 2 wheels and 2 smaller and harder in the middle to give you more space and less wheel bite when grinding. And freestyle where you have only 2 wheels and just a big space in the middle. Usually a flat setup means that you'll have more maneuverability and more responsiveness, but it's gonna be harder to grind. And a 2-wheel setup is gonna be easier to grind on, but it might feel more train-tracky. But I think this doesn't apply to small size skates. If you want to ride flat, you'll either have a very tiny H-block, so quite hard to learn grind on, or a big one, but it requires bigger frames and the wheelbase will be so long that you will start to lose all the benefits of a flat frame. And I've been noticing that myself. I have more control on my short anti-rocker setup than on my longer flat frame setup. So I think those frames should have been sold as an anti-rocker setup. I mean, with the 4 wheels, you're still able to learn grinds, but it will be harder to avoid wheel bites. And I think for a beginner, rather than focusing on the perfect technique in the first place, it's more important to be confident while trying your first grinds. Your first sessions are gonna be very decisive on the motivation and if you're gonna stick or not to skating. I know that more recent aggressive skates for kids like the Flying Eagle Vario have a sole frame that have been carefully designed for the kids, especially by reducing the size of the wheels to keep a generous H-block and a wheelbase that will match the size of the skates. I think this is what's gonna be the best standard with the best compromise, so definitely keep an eye on them. ANARCHY also released a new pair recently, a mix between the Celtics and a new USD glitch. I haven't heard any feedbacks on them at the moment. Aside of that, the wheels here are 33mm and 90A hardness, and the bearings are ABEX 7, not the best, but definitely okay for the price. The overall is just pretty basic for an entry-level skate. Overall, they are not so good skates to begin with, I would say. I was able to enjoy them a little bit, but with some modifications. So, as stock skates, I wouldn't recommend them. I think their features are kinda outdated. I think they can be a good deal if you are able to find them below 40 euros. But please don't buy them new at their full price. For a little more money, you will have access to better skates. If you're still looking for adjustable skates, the Flying Eagles Vario and the Traeger Trifunes seems technically the best options. Haven't tried them personally, but they look the more sturdy and technically advanced. But if you are more than size 36, I mean between 36 and 39, you will start to have a few adult skates that will fit. They're not the easiest to find in the smallest size, but definitely worth a look, like the USD Sways, the USD Eons, the UFRs, or the Razer Shift Loca. Some of them can be found around 200 euros, some a little bit more, but the difference in the comfort and the overall feeling is definitely noticeable. So that's the end of the review. I hope I was able to bring some informations to you. So have a nice day, have nice research, have nice time learning how to skate, and please bend your knees. Bye!